Hey, what's going on YouTube and Facebook? I'm your boy Rory with Roar Sports Media, and today I am joined by my co-host Jordan Weig and Doc Warner. Guys, we're gonna be going over the draft today. So, how y'all feeling about college, NFL, and the draft so far, man? Jordan?
Oh well, it's definitely an interesting one. I mean, we got many QBs coming out. We've got a lot of great wide receivers, offensive linemen. Basically, the draft is stock full of every position. So that's good for a lot of teams who have struggled this year, who are showing signs of weaknesses on both sides of the ball. Teams that are trying to restart, find new quarterbacks, find defensive players. It's a great draft. It's a good time to be at the bottom of the draft.
No
or
kidding.
at the top. My apologies. The top of the draft.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, man. Like there's one position that I'm not super. I guess two positions really. I think the offensive side of the ball is really stacked. And when you're talking about the draft products that are coming out and everything, I worry a little bit like dipping in and getting an edge rusher. There's some dudes that have some real raw talent and everything. And then also at the safety position, I don't see a whole lot of big standouts at the safety position. But I mean, if your team is squared away on both those in both those spots, then you can look at free agency, or you can look at maybe getting some depth in the very back end in terms of those positions. But otherwise, you can attack maybe some other weaknesses that your roster has for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing the first safety off the board for PFF is Trayvon Mooring. And, I think that you're right when it comes to edge and safety in this class, but, it is extremely stacked at quarterback and wide receiver, man. It is absolutely – and you know what? This draft also has a lot of offensive linemen that are first and second round quality too. Like it's just amazing. Like I'm looking through PFF right now, and pretty much half of the first round is nothing but offensive linemen, which is a desperate need for almost all NFL teams. I mean, for the top, so we're going to go through the top 10, and we're going to be the GMs for the top 10 on the ESPN top 10 draft board, and it should be a lot of fun. And I think that the most fun we're going to have is the Jets on this, because there's so many different ways it can go.
They're so bad. We don't know what. Like, what do we fix first?
It's that's part of being a GM. It's trying to figure out what you could possibly do. But them already having a quarterback and having that number one pick, there's so many options that they could do. They could trade out, or they could just take the QB of the future, or or they can run two quarterback sets with Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence. Who knows?
There you go.
All right. So without further ado, let's jump into that. So pick number 1, New York Jets. Clearly, like I just said, they have Sam Darnold. They drafted him 3 years ago, and they have him on his rookie contract, but they're drafting at number 1. For me personally, what I'm going to do if I'm a GM, I don't hate Sam Darnold. And I think that he has a lot of potential. I just don't think that he's being properly coached. But also with Sam Darnold, you don't know if he's a mess right now. You don't know if he's terrible or if they've ruined him, because was it last year against the Patriots? He's like literally said on camera, "I'm seeing ghosts, man." Like he's pretty much, so it tells you the state of mind of him from even last year, and then this year is even worse. So I mean, is he a ruined quarterback at this point? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself as a GM. And then I have a number 1 pick with the prospect for the last 3 years, who is projected as a freshman to be the number 1 pick in the draft
in high school.
Yeah, exactly. And he's done nothing but win. For me personally, I'm taking Trevor Lawrence. I can't pass up on a generational cornerback. I can't pass up on Elway. I can't pass up on Peyton Manning. I can't do that. What about you, Doc?
I mean, I gotta. We talked about the last time that I was on here with you. I prefer Justin Fields to Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, I think that if Georgia had gone with Fields instead of Jake from State Farm, I feel like they would. I feel like they'd have a second national title in their cabinet as opposed to Alabama having, I don't know, a 33rd. Like, I don't know how many of they've won at this point, but I mean, I think in terms of the organization, Lawrence has been preparing to be a professional quarterback since he took over for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, 11, dude.
And it's one of those things where I would have to go as a GM. I'd have to go with Lawrence. I really would. Not anything. I think it's just one of like, you trade Darnold to get something. I mean, you could probably ship him out there to Denver. Maybe get some draft capital in that regard, for either next year or later on, in this draft. Because I don't think Drew Lock's the answer out there, but I think in terms of what you have to do with this first round pick, for an organization as bad as they are, you got to go with the most important position on the field, and that's with Trev.
Oh yeah. What about you, Jordan? What's your thoughts on the Jets?
As you said, it's our most interesting conversation. You brought up Elway and Manning. I look at Lawrence as a risk. Here's why. The reason why is he may choose to sit out because you've been preparing your entire life to be that number one quarterback. I hate to do it to Cincy, but look what happened to Burrow. Yep. With a team that wasn't ready to put something around them and protect them. You're going to go into a dumpster fire. Maybe Trevor Lawrence sits out. So maybe you keep Sam Darnold. Maybe you trade back and you go get that draft capital, go get those draft picks to build around Sam Darnold and maybe go get him something he's never had, like a wide receiver. So maybe you trade back and you go grab a wide receiver and you go get somebody who definitely wants to trade up, like Denver, like maybe Jacksonville. Maybe you're just going back to number 2.
So on that note, I think a low-key team that would probably do that is the 49ers. They are constantly making deals when it comes to the draft. Yep. And I don't think they believe in Jimmy G. Like, he's pretty much what cost them the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Him not reading the field, him and making bad decisions is what caused the 49ers to lose to the Chiefs. So I'm pretty much in the camp of, I think the 49ers could trade up to that number 1 position to get Trevor Lawrence and pretty much solidify, because
they're okay everywhere else. So I can realistically, they'd be willing to give up that draft capital or whatever. I mean, at this point, anywhere else, they're just looking at depth. They're just looking at depth.
They got running back. They got linemen. They got receivers. Their defense is solid. They got really, really good linebackers, some good cornerbacks, and that pressure, man. The only thing that's holding them back is a quarterback. Those viewing right now, what do you guys think about the Jets pick in the 2021 NFL draft? Let us know in the comments. Right now, I think that, Jordan, you're in the camp of trading back for more picks and, pretty much – because, I mean, the Jets they're not going to be fixed in one draft. They're not. No, they're not going to. But they, I don't think that Trevor Lawrence, saves them either. It's just kind of one of the positions is like, can you pass up on a generational quarterback? It's hard because because as Doc was saying, that is the most important position on the team. But the thing is, they drafted Darnold number 3 years ago. So, so what you gonna do with that?
Exactly. And I mean, I think it all starts with Gase. I think you do take Lawrence too, and you get rid of Gase in the offseason. You go pick up somebody new. You go get Lawrence then. You keep Gase, trade back, build around Sam Darnold.
For sure. I mean, the Colts could possibly trade. I don't think, clearly Rivers isn't the quarterback for the future. He's he's like 38, 39-ish.
Yeah, he's old. I think he's in like his 17th, 18th season.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see the Colts. They're pretty well-built team too. They're willing to trade in the draft.
I look at Philly also. I could see Philly trading up and going and getting somebody too. I mean, they need offensive line help, like you said.
Yes.
And this kid, I mean, I've got him going at 3. This kid Sewell from Oregon, but I mean, they could obviously with Carson Wentz's injury history, and is Carson Wentz even the guy anymore? Obviously, there's lots of talk out of Philly of him not even being the freaking guy for them. So
yeah, they just benched him.
See that happening too. Exactly, they just benched him for Jalen. So,
and I mean, like,
you can make the same argument for Atlanta. Yeah. I would, if I'm Atlanta, I want to trade up and I want to go get Lawrence because that's a hometown kid, bro. Like. And
that'd be great
about,
for too.
him throwing the ball to freaking Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and those guys that they've got there, like Todd Gurley. I mean, they're going to be chock full with hometown dudes at this point, and that's a team that the city can get behind and everything.
Yeah, and I just counted on PFF. They have like 3 offensive linemen in the top 25. So. No, not 3. Sorry, 6 offensive linemen in the top 30. My bad. But dude, teams that need offensive line help it's going to be there. And I think that with all the QBs that are coming out, I think I counted 5 QBs that are first and second round potential draftees. A lot of teams are going to be able to bolster their offensive line through this draft, and I think a lot of good skill players are going to fall to the second and third. But I think with the number 1 pick for myself, and I think Doc, you said so too, Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yes.
And then Jordan, you're trading back.
Back.
But who do you think is going to be the most likely trade option with the Jets, though?
Who's going to be the most likely? Let me see here. I definitely have to go with Doc here. I got to go Atlanta. Atlanta would probably be the guys that are going to give the keys to the kingdom and go give you a lot of draft capital to go pick them up because they're already a built team. They've got some small positions on the defensive side to go to, but a lot of that you could just say was coaching. Their defense hasn't necessarily, and you've seen it throughout actually this season, their defense is locked down on a lot of games. Injury has been an issue.
Provided they're not injured. That's exactly right. Provided they're not injured.
I look at Atlanta going and being like, Jets, let's trade. What do y'all want? We'll give you what you want. And there you go.
Yeah, and Atlanta's number 7 right now, so it's not like a huge get up there to number 1. They're gonna have to probably come off a player like Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley, and because they're gonna have to pay Calvin this year, and they're already paying Julio Jones. So I mean, Atlanta's gonna have to trade a player and their first round pick, and probably, man, what's Trevor Lawrence worth? What's that franchise QB worth? The Jets need receivers. They need offensive line, but it's just kind of like, what do they give up to get to that number 1 pick for the Jets? And for me, it's gonna cost a player a first round pick, a second round pick, and next year's first round pick for me to get from like 7 to 1. As a GM.
I mean, honestly, I think they could probably obviously swap first. So that means Jets are going to be picking. The Jets will be picking. What is that? 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
So they're picking at the Jets would then be picking at 8, and then I feel like they could probably give up a second and a third. Because if they give up, I feel like that would do it. To be honest with you,
nah, man.
Like we talked about with the depth that's in this draft, they have so many positions to fix. I don't think that Sam Darnold is the issue. I really don't think he's the issue. If you look at certain plays that he's made, he's not the problem there. I think it's a culture issue, and that's obviously happening up in the head coach's office.
Exactly.
But, I digress with that. We could get on that, and we could talk for the next 45 minutes about how bad that dude is.
Yeah.
But I think like we talked about, there's to me, there's not that there's a lack of talent for Sam Darnold. It's just there's a dearth of what's around him. And I think that
he's not working with
generating draft capital is going to be the most important thing. Like, look at what old Chucky has done out there in, I want to say Oakland, but Las Vegas. Look what he's done out there in Las Vegas. He shipped off Khalil Mack.
Yep.
Another generational talent.
People are like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Single-handedly over the last couple of years has kept the Bears relevant. And then he ships off Amari Cooper, and they're like, okay, what are you doing? Why are you tanking so bad? And now they're in the playoff hunt. If they're not, I think they're a wild card slot right now. But I mean, you look at what has happened as you generate draft capital, but that requires a competent front office. So
exactly, like
we're assuming a competent front office at that point.
Yeah,
it's dangerous
because you don't know what you're gonna get. Clearly, Mike Mayock was one of my favorite draft analysts coming out, and him getting that Raiders job was amazing for me because I always trusted Mike Mayock's judgment when it comes to players, and clearly, there are some picks clearly with the Raiders that I questioned, like taking Cleveland Farrell at number 3 when no one else had him there.
Yeah, that was tough.
And right now he's been okay. Like, he hasn't been a top 3 pick, a pick that comes in there, a Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? You pick Khalil Mack at number 3. And you pick Cleveland Farrell, and he's, a really good run stuffer. That's it. He hasn't generated any pass rush or anything else. But other than that, Mike Mayock, in other draft prospects that he's got, like, clearly Josh Jacobs is amazing. And, normally people don't agree with taking a running back in the first round, but, Mike Mayock saw something special, and, he's lit the league on fire. But yeah, so let's without further ado, guys, let's get on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, my future home in about 2 months. Jordan, I'm gonna let you take the lead. Yeah, Jordan, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one, dude. If you're the GM for the Jaguars, what are you doing?
Justin Fields.
All
Plain and simple, all the way.
Okay.
I think this is clear, cut, and dry. I think you got fast wide receivers. I think you got an okay defense. You've lost a lot of people, but it's not bad. It's not great. You can pick it up later in the draft. You can pick up better offensive linemen. Yeah, man, Justin Fields all the way. Plain and simple. He's right there.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Doc?
I gotta agree. I don't unlike the whole Trevor Lawrence situation up there in a dysfunctional organization, and is Sam Darnold the answer? Gardner Minshew is not the answer. That's just plain and simple. He's a good backup. He's going to make a good quarterback room because he has experience.
Yep.
But Justin Fields is clearly better than Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, just on talent. Mm-hmm.
On talent alone. On talent alone, Justin Fields is clearly better. He gives you more options. He can make all the throws that Minshew makes, and he's mobile.
Extremely.
So it just is it's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer for me. It's got to be Justin Fields.
Like you said, I'm in the same boat as you guys. Justin Fields is the pick for me for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has the arm. He has the processor, that QB processor. Clearly, Ohio State, he's tearing it up against the Big Ten. And he's extremely mobile, dude. I think I was watching a highlight, man, and pretty much running back took around the edge, and then you just see Justin Fields streaming up the sideline with the running back that he just handed it off to. I'm like, this kid is fast, and he's got wheels for days. The Jaguars are an organization that was just in the AFC Championship game, 2 years ago against the Patriots, and then they kind of had to ship everyone off because they were trying to 17. Yeah, 17, 3 years ago. Yeah. So they're in the AFC championship hunt 3 years ago. And, since then they've had to ship off Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell,
Yannick
Ngakoue.
They came to Baltimore. They came to Baltimore.
Hey. Yeah. And clearly those are fantastic players. So the defense is taking a hit. But like you said, whenever you have that quarterback in your sights and you can take him, do take him. Especially if you need him. Like you're saying, Gardner Minshew is not that guy. Gardner Minshew is a top end backup quarterback, and the fact that Duval has been trying to make him a quarterback for the past 2 years has been kind of a joke. I think I mean, clearly the Uncle Rico references, like he kind of takes it, not himself as a joke, but his persona. Like it's just kind of like, let's get a professional in here. Let's go win a Super Bowl, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's a mindset they have to adopt, and Justin Fields is that pick for all of the roar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to my Cincinnati Bengals, bro. Oh, clearly what we need is offensive line help. And I think I know who I'm gonna take. I think the world knows who the Bengals are gonna take, and that is that big offensive lineman Penei Sewell out of Oregon, big Polynesian guy. And this guy, like I was watching some draft tape on him the other night. He moves like he's floating, man. His feet are so sweet. The way he just glides back and just makes contact, and his hands are powerful. The Bengals need offensive line help, clearly, because Joe Burrow got his leg destroyed, partly because I think that he was trying to wait too long in the pocket and trying to make something happen for, he's a rookie, and that was one of his tendencies, why he was getting hit so often. It's actually why he got beat the hell up in that Ravens game against you guys, man, is he was trying to hold on to the ball a little bit too long. Mm-hmm. But it was because his offensive line also was letting him get lit up. So it was a bit of both sides there. If the Bengals can, at number 3, take Penei Sewell, you don't move from there. He is a generational tackle, and that's who I'm taking personally. What do you think, Jordan?
You're right. I mean, you got to take a generational tackle. You got to protect Joe Burrow, especially if he comes back, and hopefully he's the same quarterback. The only way I see them moving out of number 3 is if somebody's moving up to get another position. And then you're just utilizing your number 3 spot, trade back, and you're not trading back very far. You may trade back from number 3 to who are we looking at? Maybe number 5, number 6. Clearly the Chargers or the Cowboys or the Eagles, they may not be looking for offensive linemen. They may be, but they may be seeking other positions. More importantly, like a quarterback, like defensive players. Only if that situation appears, then I trade back, try to get some more draft capital so you can further build that offensive line around Joe Burrow. If you don't see that, you get the feeling Philadelphia is definitely going to take an offensive lineman. My dumb Cowboys are going to take an offensive lineman again at number 4. Don't move.
Yep. Yeah, yep. I don't. So what I think is I don't necessarily think the Cowboys will take a lineman at 4. They'll probably take a wide receiver. They'll probably take Jamar Chase, because you never have too many wide receivers, right, Jordan? No.
Of course.
But if the Bengals trade out of number 3, I just don't see anyone in the top 10 that'd be willing to go up there for Penei Sewell, especially if they know that what they could get.
I could see Miami flipping. I could see Miami coming up and getting Sewell, just because he's very clearly and obviously the best tackle on the board in the draft, and obviously they're going to want to try and protect protect Tua. So I could see that if anybody out of the top 10 wanted to trade up and get a lineman, you could potentially say the same thing about Carolina trying to protect both, Teddy Two Gloves and C-Mac. I mean, I could see that happening as well, but I just don't think it's likely. I don't see anybody. I think the action's going to be on the first pick. And it'll stay pretty true throughout the rest of the way.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that the Bengals stay at number 3 and they just go ahead and shore up their offensive line. Like, why, if you have an Orlando Pace, a Jonathan Ogden, or a person of that caliber that could protect your quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years of his time in your place, don't even think about it. Do it, especially if that's literally the worst position on your team. Like, do not pass that up. It's stupid if you do. It's such an obvious pick. Like, it's just kind of like, go ahead and just go there right now, dude. You're going to get drafted.
For sure.
Yeah, Nabori says, yeah, Sewell to the Bengals for sure. And she sees, well, I think that's the next one. Jordan, do you want to go ahead and start with the Cowboys, man?
Hang on. I gotta do my pick for the Bengals.
Yep.
Sorry. I thought when you talked to you, go ahead, Doug.
So here's the thing, right? So as a Baltimore fan, I think that the biggest need that Cincy can fill, he's a guy that's right up there for grabs. He's one of the top 2 punters in the league. I think they can go and get Jeff Camarda, the punter from UGA. I think he can really make a big difference.
Yeah, field positions
can really make a big difference.
Putting it back there.
I truly feel like I said, as a Baltimore fan, where you guys hurt us the most was in the punt game. So, or where you guys gave us the most blessings was in the punt game. So I think that's where we probably go.
Thank you for that. Thank you for rubbing our noses in that. Appreciate that, Doc.
Yeah, but all seriousness, I'm also on Sewell.
Right, well, good seeing you.
Freaking monster. I think that kid's a monster. You have those occasional freaks that come out of Oregon, and I think he's just next in line. So
yeah. Yep. His little brother's a linebacker there, and he's also.
I've heard that. I've heard he's a tank. He's a tank.
He got hurt though earlier this year, but yeah, he's a monster too. So without further ado, and at behest of my heart, let's go on to the Cowboys. Jordan, they're your team. I'm gonna let you talk about them, okay?
All right. So there's so many routes with the Cowboys this year. On what you go with. It could be a QB. It could be certain. You're going to pick up your actual cornerback, a quality cornerback, or you're going to trade back. One of those 3 options. It all depends on if Dak Prescott deal gets done and if you actually truly believe Dak Prescott is your QB. If he's not your QB, you go after Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. You go try to trade for that generational talent, as we've all discussed. And you give up your person to make sure you get it. And I think Ezekiel Elliott would be that prime piece to move on from. Mm-hmm. And he's done it before. Jerry Jones has done it before. He's traded Herschel Walker to go get draft capital. My bad, y'all. Capital, and I think he picked up Emmitt Smith the following year with that Herschel Walker trade. And then you had one of the greatest football teams to ever exist. So that really depends. What I think is going to happen is they will stay safe. They're going to go after certain for number 4. And what I want them to do is I want them to trade back. I'm tired of them going after the guys that are going to demand all this money. I want them to trade back. I want them to maybe even trade out of the top 5. I want them to build depth, especially on the defensive side, especially with offensive linemen that clearly is there. We've got receivers. We've got the running back. We're going to get the quarterback. We need D tackles. We need safeties. We need cornerbacks. And we need plenty of them. And we may need a linebacker.
DB's been a need for a while. I agree with that.
Yeah. So I want them to trade it actually back unless they don't get Dak Prescott done. Then I want them to go get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Doc, what do you got for the Cowboys, dude?
All right, so Jerry Jones is a little bit of a loose cannon, right? So he's gonna do what he feels. He's big time Showtime kind of fella. So while I agree, I like the Pat Surtain pick here, like I said, because DB's been a need for a while. I say a while. They did just ship off Byron Jones or whatever, and if you think back, the only reason that they drafted Byron Jones is because he broad jumped like 84 feet at the draft and broke the world record or whatever. That's the only reason they drafted that kid. Who ended up being a great pick, but I digress. I could see Surtain. I could see Micah Parson, that linebacker from that linebacker from Penn State. But something else I could also see, again, this is all dependent upon, the deal getting done for Dak and everything. That kid Pitts from Florida, the tight end. The kid Pitts from
Florida,
the tight end. I could really, really realistically see them picking him right here. I could really realistically see them picking him right here. And that's what my pick's going to be. That's what my pick's going to be. I'm going to say what day is it? December 13th. The draft's not for another 4 months. I could realistically see at this point in time them taking Pitts. That kid's a stud. He puts up numbers. He's big bodied. He can flex out. And play more of a wide receiver position. You can put him in the slot. He can beat people in the slot. Best tight end in the draft here. I could see them taking him. I don't agree with it. Like I said, I'd either take Pat Surtain or Micah Parsons. I lean more towards Pat Surtain. But my pick is going to be, as far as what they are going to do, Pitts. I think it's going to be Pitts.
It's the most Cowboy thing ever, by the way.
Correct.
I just want y'all to know.
Correct.
We will take Pitts.
So, I mean, Kyle Pitts. I think he's one of the next great NFL tight ends if you can put it all together on the field. He's got about the same. I don't know about blocking. I think he's a decent blocker, but not great at it. But I think he's got like Travis Kelce-esque catching and running ability. But for the Cowboys, so what I got is them trading out of the number 4 pick to the Detroit Lions. And the Lions at number 4 feeling that, it's time to move on from why am I blanking on his name?
Stafford.
No, Matt
Texas.
Your boy. Because the contract's too big. They just fired their head coach. They want to bring new blood to Detroit, and right now
ruin another career. Whose career are they going to ruin there?
They're going to ruin Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson,
BYU. Yep. That PFF has Zach Wilson as their top 3 prospect on the board. Detroit, they're gonna trade up to get their quarterback of the future to spite Philly, and try and better their team for the future. As a whole, they have wide receivers, they have offensive linemen, they have 3 running backs. Their defense is decent. It's not terrible. It's just it's just kind of like refreshing, hitting that refresh button on the keyboard, dude. Let's start the computer over again. I see them trading with Dallas and picking Zach Wilson. But if the Cowboys do happen to stay at number 4, then, I think that they're, probably Kwity Paye out of Michigan could be.
That's one of the good edge prospects.
Yeah, out of Michigan. I could see them
taking that kid from Miami too.
Because they need an edge rusher to help out Tank Lawrence, and Aldon Smith is like 31 or 32. I think he's old as hell right now, and this is some new blood, but he has an 88.4 pass rushing grade, and he's been super duper explosive and agile at Michigan. So number 4, I got the Dallas Cowboys taking Kwity Paye if they stay, but if they trade out, I see them going with the Lions, and the Lions taking Zach Wilson. Was that decent? Was that decent?
That's
I think that's also edge is a flashy spot. Dallas likes to they like to draft flashy. I mean, the last time they had the number 4 pick, they hit on Zeke. So. Mm-hmm.
Could have been Jalen Ramsey, but we took Zeke instead.
Exactly. They could have bit that bullet and had Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
I'm not high on Jalen Ramsey.
I like Jalen Ramsey. I think he's a
locker room problem. But.
I think Zeke's a locker room problem also. I don't think he's been very good for the Cowboys. How many games he missed for suspension?
Don't get me started on that. That's another hour right there.
Not going to training camp, going to Cabo, all that stuff.
Coming back fat.
Fat, right?
Yeah, my personal perspective on the top 5. In the top 5, I'm only drafting players to throw the ball, stop receivers from catching the ball, and to go and sack the quarterback for me, my personal my GM stance, those are the only players I'm taking in the top 5. Because for me, that's where the money's worth, right? Edge rushing, cornerback, stopping the pass, and then quarterback, getting touchdowns, all that stuff. For me, it doesn't matter how generational the running back is. It doesn't matter how good the wide receiver is. I can find those in the draft. What's hard to find is a really, really dominant edge rusher and cornerback. Those are extremely hard positions to find later in the draft, and quarterback. It's hard to hit those positions later on. So Kwity Paye at number 4 is my pick for the Cowboys. Do you guys have anything for the Cowboys?
I mean, it fits that we all have different picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. It fits that we all had different picks.
I mean, for all we know, the Cowboys will pick a punter.
There you go, Jeff Camarda. He's there.
Do it. Greg Zerliner just missed 3 field goals from the 50. They'll go kicker first round because it's important. I
mean, freaking Chucky did it before too.
The only thing I could see them changing is after years and years of them not believing believing they could just plug in anybody to be a D tackle and getting shredded for the last, decade by the run game. And they're historically might be the worst run defense ever. Ever. Bengals. Oh, don't worry. We're coming for you. They might actually pick a D tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there anyone worth there? I haven't seen anybody on the top 50 far for a D tackle.
So top 50, I just saw this a second ago. For interior defensive line, I saw Mac. Yeah. So D line, Barrymore. Let's see. I have Marvin Wilson out of
Florida State.
Florida State. Marvin Wilson. Not a whole lot of DT talent early in the draft, honestly, man. So I mean, I don't see the Cowboys going interior defensive lineman number 4. I think Kwity Paye is probably your pick there. Hey Doc, so let's get off the Cowboys. Let's go over to number 5 Chargers. What do you think? What kind of position do you think they're in?
So I feel like the Chargers are going to be fairly reactive based on what Dallas does. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that if they need help in a certain spot, it's going to be at the corner spot. They've got for whatever Derwin James. They've got Derwin James out there in the back end. They've got Kenneth Murray, who they drafted last year, who's not doing a bad job. They're in the middle. Mm-hmm. They've got Joey Bosa and I can't Ingram. For the life of me remember. Yeah, Ingram. They've got Joey Bosa and Ingram on the edges over there. So I think that let's just say Dallas does trade out of that spot, or let's just say Dallas does take Pitty or Dallas does take Pitts. I think I realistically seeing them taking Surtain to kind of secure the outside, take away that number 1 option, especially in the division that they're in with Las Vegas, with Kansas City, and with Denver. So I realistically see them taking that dude that can be a number 1 guy. He's a lockdown kind of fella. So I could see them taking him. Let's just say Dallas does take Pat Surtain. I could also see them doubling down and taking Micah Parsons. I can see them doubling down there in the middle of the field and taking Micah Parsons and kind of sitting back and waiting on another a corner to kind of pop up and be of a better value in a later round. Additionally, there's that linebacker out of Notre Dame. I cannot remember his name. There's that linebacker out of Notre Dame that's really fast. He runs really, really well. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I could see them pulling. I could see them pulling that kid too, just because again the speed in that division is unreal.
Yep.
So if we're we draft to win your division first, and I think that those two picks, or either one of those, whether like I said, whether it's Pat Surtain or Micah Parson or the kid from Notre Dame whose name I already forgot. I think that right. I think that those three in that order. I guess you could probably interchange Micah Parson and that other kid. But if Pat Surtain's available, you got to take Pat Surtain. Otherwise, I think your best available need is going to be linebacker position.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that they're definitely probably going DB at this point because you don't know if Devontae Smith, it's still his name in the draft. If Derwin James, if he can stay healthy next year, you definitely want to get younger. I know they have for the Chargers, they have like two cornerbacks that are over the age of 30. So you definitely want to get younger at that position. And there's a lot of cornerbacks in the top 25 here too, man.
There's also that kid out of Virginia Tech.
Farley.
Yep.
You got
Caleb Farley. I'm looking at right now.
You've got Farley out of Virginia Tech, and you've also got Wade. You've got Wade out of Ohio State.
Wade.
So there's some spots that you can. There's some spots that you can hit. In terms of the corner position that are going to be of value for sure.
Yep. So I'm seeing right now there are literally 4 cornerbacks in the top 25. Tyson Campbell, Sean Wade out of Ohio State, Patrick Surtain, Alabama, and then Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley. So yeah, you're going to have plenty to choose from when it comes to CBs. That is if they choose to stay at 5, which I think they do. I mean, I just don't see anyone else trading up to 5 for anything else in this draft. Yeah. So Jordan, what do you got for the Chargers at 5?
I mean, I agree with both of you. I mean, they're going to be drafting for best position available, what they need. I mean, again, it does. It's really the Chargers have done really good in the draft. They've drafted really good players. They've drafted exactly what they've needed over the years. So I don't see if the Cowboys go to Surtain and Pitts is just sitting there. I don't see them going to him, though. I always hear there's always this concern of tight end for the Chargers. They like their tight ends. In San Diego, at least that's what I've seen over the years, and they've never really had a healthy one since Antonio Gates. So Pitts, if he's sitting there, he might be too enticing, and they might go best player available at that point. But I just don't see the Chargers doing that. I don't see them being pulled by that, and I think they'll definitely go linebacker or CB, especially with Derwin James' health issues.
I mean, I could also see them going offensive lineman too. I could see them going tackle with Aliyah Vera Tucker, Christian Dariusau out of Virginia Tech also, or even Alex Leatherwood. They could, want to protect Justin Herbert a little bit better with a better offensive tackle, better prospects.
There's also Samuel Cosme.
There's Cosme out of Texas. That kid,
Cosme out of Texas also.
That kid's pretty well
Cosme.
And he could be one of those that slides to guard.
Yep.
I mean, there's some leeway with that kid.
Yeah, the Chargers are in a very, very good position because they got their quarterback of the future. They got good wide receivers, and this draft is also full of wide receivers also. So the world kind of their oyster at 5, man. They could trade back or they could stay there. It doesn't really matter for them. They're in a very, very good position.
Yeah, they're in a good spot there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jordan, I'm gonna let you take it over for the Eagles. I know how much you like them, dude.
Oh gosh, man.
Do they also need a punter?
I wish. I hope.
I think
let's see. If they need a punter,
who's available?
Yeah.
Honestly, I see them correcting their wrong, and even though they need offensive linemen clearly to protect Nick Foles because they're going to go get him again because they're having brain seizures because they let him go. No, they're gonna go. They'll be the first team to take a wide receiver.
Yes,
They really will. They'll most likely go after who is it? Waddle, or they're gonna go after Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase. It's really in any of those guys. And I think it's plain and simple. They're going to see it. I don't think Hurts is going to be their quarterback of the future. I think they're going to believe in Carson Wentz. I think they're going to give him another year. I just think they're going to, for one, he's injury prone, so they're taking him off. They want to see what Hurts has, so they're going to let him play on a injury-riddled team to see what Hurts has got. Two, they're going to let Carson Wentz kind of get the mentality back, trying to protect his hopefully not fragile mentality state. I'm being very nice, by the way, Philadelphia. I actually want y'all to just crash and burn. I think y'all go after a wide receiver, hands down.
Lou Headley is available. He's the punter from Miami. So
Hurts is going to start.
He is. Lou Headley, let's go. I see them going best player available. And it says Jamar Chase right now is the number 1 overall, but we all know with wide receivers that can change, especially after the combine and after everybody runs their 40. Yeah. And do you get hit in the face through the gauntlet?
Yeah, quick question, quick thing there, dude. Devontae Smith is apparently just a little bit slower than Henry Ruggs. So, my boy.
Yeah, I saw a stat where he might run high 4.4s, low 4.5s. So I mean, he's productive.
Devontae Smith?
Yeah, Devontae Smith. He's productive, but he's not your burner. He's not your barn burner. But that's just not his game.
I don't know, man. I think Devontae Smith is fast as hell. I don't know.
He probably plays faster than he is. He's one of those that plays faster.
He could be filled fast, but
field fast is different. Field fast is different.
Yeah, I think that
we've seen that. I think we've seen that with John Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen that with John Ross. Field fast is different.
He's field fast too.
We've seen that. We've definitely seen that with Hollywood Brown and his all 112 pounds of him. We've seen that with John Ross. We've seen that with Hollywood Brown. Field fast is different than let's put on our speed suit and run.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, John Ross is, man. He's just mentally weak. That's what it is. He's a giant pussy. I'm sorry. I mean, he's a Bengal. We drafted him, but I knew that from the second that we drafted him. I showed you guys pictures. I knew that this kid would just had.
He's from Washington. He's a Pac-12 guy. Come on, man.
I'll put the picture in the edited version of this, but I was not a John Ross fan when we drafted him, bro. I asked my wife. Nabori, tell him in the comments. I was crying.
Charles.
But yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Jordan. I think Philly's the first one to take. Philly's the first one to take a wide receiver, and really it's up in the air as far as who they take. I think if they go based on maybe a little bit of familiarity since they're going to play Jalen, they probably go the Alabama route. Jalen's not as polished. Jalen's not as polished of a passer. So now, I'm not saying he's not a polished passer, not as polished of a passer. Words are important. Words are important. He throws the ball better than me. I'll just say that. But I think that they could lean that way. Again, that's assuming a competent front office, which I don't know if we have one of those in Philly either. But I think that they're the first ones to take a wide receiver, and it's really up in the air. But I mean, I'd have to go Jamar Chase as the best available. It's pretty much just based on what he did last year. He had an incredible season last year. What he had 19 or 20 touchdowns or something crazy like that.
Yep.
Every time you turn around, he's catching the ball in the end zone.
He had the man, the myth, the legend.
Right.
Oh yeah. So for Philly, I'm going Devontae Smith. I think that you're right. The Alabama connection is a little bit better with Jalen Hurts if they do decide to stay with him, and even if they do go back to Carson Wentz. Devontae Smith's a big body. He can, and I think he can move. whether it be field fast or it's just, regular speed, it doesn't matter. The dude gets open and he makes incredible catches. I think he's cut from a different, not different cloth than Chase. I just think that, we've seen him lately,
He's playing this year, and Jamar Chase opted out. So
Jamar Chase opted out. We know what Devontae Smith is about. He's the most productive wide receiver in Alabama history as of right now. That'll probably change next year whenever the next one comes around. He catches 50 touchdowns in a season. Who knows?
Yep.
But I got Devontae Smith going to Philly at 6. I'm gonna go ahead and take the lead on Atlanta. I think that they go with offensive line, and I think they're going to go with Samuel Cosmi, just to protect their statue of a quarterback, Matt Ryan, and helping out with that run game because Todd Gurley apparently has lost his Gurley juice in the run game. So I think that it's kind of easy at this point because they've got wide receiver. I don't think they got a running back, but you can find that later in the rounds. I think what helps out that offense right now is an offensive lineman. Yeah, so I got Samuel Cosmi out of Texas. Pass block without Penei Sewell there. I think he's probably the next best option coming out of Texas. He is pretty good. He's pretty good pass blocking, and third best pass blocking in the Power 5 tackles. So I'm probably gonna go with Samuel Cosmi at 7 for the Falcons. What about you, Jordan?
We got a pretty. They seem like a pretty good. Not really with hiring coaches, but I would say with drafting personnel, they're really good at it. So I think they're going to get the position they need. I again am still going to go with that. Atlanta will try to trade up and go get Trevor Lawrence. I think they are looking on to move on from Matt Ryan. I just don't see it, and I think if he's not there at number 1, I think they're just going to try to go with the next best quarterback available, whoever that is, whether that's
Trey Lance.
At this point, it's Trey Lance. At this point, it's Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. Let's go. I like it. I'm feeling. No, we're not feeling Brock Purdy. All right, I'm kidding about that one.
Hey, the last dude out of North Dakota State University didn't do too bad, until they started breaking his back. So
exactly. So I don't see them shying away from getting the next quarterback available. I think they're going to start really testing that market because how much does Matty Ice have left? We really just don't know, and you don't know what next hit might just be it for
the last one.
Last one, and who you're going to have backing them up. So I think this is the draft where you see a lot of available QBs who are very good, very talented. You can still groom them, and you want that ideal scenario. You don't want to throw a quarterback in when you have nobody around, nobody to protect him, nobody to groom him. Cincinnati, you want to You want to groom this quarterback at least for a year or two. Even a few months. Look at Tua. Could you imagine Tua if he just straight went in and they were like, "Yeah, Fitzpatrick, you're not starting at all. Just go." But nah, he looks like he did very well with that. So I think Lance would be the next pick if they don't go after Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that happening. Like I said, I could see it being Trey Lance. I could see it being the edge rusher. We could go back and visit the edge rusher. Kwity Paye is already gone, but you got this really raw talent, Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. He's not, like I said, he's not refined at all. We saw that today against Carolina, Tar Heels Nation. But I could see that happening. I could see, let's just say this kid from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he's still on the board. If he's still on the board, boom, they could go there again, getting speed at the linebacker position. There's all kinds of ways that they can go, but I do agree. Like I said, I think their big push is going to be to go get Trevor or go get Justin Fields, and steal them away from either Jacksonville or New York. But I don't see them budging Yeah, those are generational guys, sure. I don't think that Trey Lance is really that guy, but I mean, he's definitely one of those that is intriguing enough to where I could see Atlanta. I could see Atlanta picking him up, letting him sit for a year, maybe letting him sit for 2 years. Who knows? And then shopping Matt Ryan as that older backup and letting Trey take the reins.
Yeah. Trey's definitely got.
Or
He's
shopping
got
him off and getting that contract out of there, and maybe they can go play some ball in free agency.
Yep.
Yeah.
And PFF says combination of arm talent and legit game-breaking running ability to maintain his top spot in the top 10 for them.
And I think that with that game-breaking ability that Trey Lance has, that's going to open stuff up for Todd Gurley. It's going to open stuff up in the running game. And I mean, he's good out of the backfield too. We know that Todd is good out of the backfield. So it's one of those things where I feel like he just needs a jump start. He just needs a jump start a little bit. He's still Todd Gurley. I just feel like maybe he could use that jump start. Look at what Lamar did for Mark Ingram last year. Like Mark Ingram was 1,000-yard rusher last year. And I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl based on open run lanes that Lamar created. It's not going to be the exact same thing. I definitely think that Todd Gurley is a better back than Mark Ingram is. So he wouldn't need as much openings or as many openings. He wouldn't need as much help as Mark Ingram has.
Yep. So, I mean, I agree. They're good points. I think Trey Lance is definitely a possibility. I don't see it because they did just pay Matt Ryan. So I mean, who knows? With Atlanta, they're gonna have a new coach. They might want a new quarterback. That could possibly happen. Also, but yeah, Atlanta is also one of those teams that they could go any which way possible. I think I think what they need. You're right, Doc is edge rusher, but I just don't see an edge rusher that's worthy of that pick right now. Exactly. I know that Gregor Rousseau he's a freakishly long defensive lineman, but he was more comfortable on the interior rather than the outside for Miami, and that's not what Atlanta needs. They need a true edge rusher from an outside agent, you know. So I mean, that's the only need I could see for Atlanta is an edge rusher, but I just don't see him taking it there with him. But without further ado, let's get to number 8, the Carolina Panthers. Doc, you're a Carolina guy. Go ahead and take it.
Well, you know, I'm a Tar Heel guy.
Tar Heel guy.
So
Tar Heel guy.
I really feel like at this point, I mean, they've paid Teddy Two Gloves. They're going to get Christian McCaffrey back. I could see them taking an offensive weapon. I could see that happening. We've already talked about Jamar Chase could be off the board. We've already talked about Devontae Smith could be off the board. I could see Waddle coming off here for sure. I could see them dipping into the offensive tackle pool and pulling an offensive tackle. We've already talked about Panay Sewell. We've already talked about Samuel Cosme. I could see them going and getting there's one out of USC. There's one out of Virginia Tech. Yeah, I could see them going and getting those guys. This is another one that I feel like is going to be a lot like the Chargers, where it's just going to be position of need and best player available. So my pick is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle off the board here, giving Teddy somebody else to throw the ball to, open up some more lanes for Christian McCaffrey. I feel like that's a possibility. And if they don't go skill position here, I see him taking a tackle or somebody that they could plug into a tackle spot and flex to a guard position if they don't pan out. Maybe one of your smaller, quicker tackles.
Could be. Jordan, what do you have for Carolina?
I agree with a lot with Doc right there. I mean, it's really their pick. I mean, they've got a lot of good position. They've got a lot of plays. I do see them going wide receiver too, just because I think they need that killer, that stud. They've got some good wide receivers, but they need somebody, a deep threat to really go down and kill it. If not, if you're really going with Teddy Bridgewater to be your guy, your quarterback, it does have to be the next best offensive lineman off the board. And so, I mean, especially you're going with Teddy Bridgewater because he's been injury prone and he was out for a whole year. You want to protect him. And as we've discussed it before, Rory, Teddy Bridgewater, he's a good quarterback, but you want to protect your good quarterback, plus having an offensive lineman, making sure you're able to really dominate that line. I'd see them going with Darisaw. Or is it Darisaw?
Darisaw, yeah.
Darisaw out of Virginia Tech. Giving that line, giving those holes for Christian McCaffrey, because the last thing you want him to do is get injured again and then be a 3 or 5 or a 5-year back, and then he's gone. He's done. He's out. You don't want that to happen.
I agree. Yep. And Darisaw has, as a left tackle, the 94.4 overall grade, the second highest in the country per PFF. Yep. So, that's a good pick for me personally. But for me, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I think that the Carolina Panthers go defense. I think for me, at this point, they're going to take Micah Parsons out of Penn State. And only because they're missing a true leader on the defense after Luke Kuechly left them. I think Micah Parsons, per PFF, this kid is crazy good. He's for them, whenever you take the quarterback, out of the position out of play, he is their third best player. He did opt out this season, so hopefully he's out there getting better at his craft. But it says modern athleticism and a throwback size combination, and he can cover. So that tells me this guy's Luke Kuechly. That this guy could be that level of player. So me personally, I think that's what they need, paired up with Shaq Lawson and helping that defense out in a high scoring NFC South with stopping the seemingly unstoppable Saints and a healthy Falcons, and not to mention Tom Brady.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I see them going Micah Parsons in the being that leader in the middle for the future. Any objections?
No.
No. Okay, so I think that we're good on the Panthers. Let's go to the Detroit Lions.
Are they number 10?
No, I have them as number 9.
Or number 9?
On ESPN.
Oh, I have Miami.
I've got Miami as number 9.
We can go Miami.
Yeah, with the trade from Houston right now. I guess this really just depends on Houston's record.
Yeah. That's really what it is. We can pick 11. Let's pick 11.
Wait, what?
I'm saying we can pick 11 instead of picking 10. We can go 11. It's just one more.
No, I have on ESPN I have Detroit at number 9, then Denver at 10, and Miami at 11. As of right now, I don't know why.
All right, cool. I mean, we can flex it. We can flex it, and we can go Detroit here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of weird. I don't know why Detroit's 5 and 7, and they're ahead of a 4 and 8 Miami. So I mean, no, let's go Miami. Let's go Miami.
Miami here. Okay, cool. That's what my research is based on. So
okay, let's do that. So that weirded me out. Sorry, guys. It's a live show. Yeah, go sports. Hell yeah. Woo! Go sports.
Yeah,
all right.
Sports.
So Miami. I'm gonna let you start, Doc, since you've been researching down there.
Bet. So here's the thing. I mean, I know you just talked about Parson. You just talked about Parson, but for me and what my picks have been, Parson's still available. I got to go Parson here. I got to go Parson here for a lot of the same reasons that you spoke about in terms of lacking leadership in the middle and in Carolina. He's big, he's fast, he's opted out, so he's probably getting better. He's working with the same strength and conditioning coaches that that produced, good old Saquon. So he's gonna be he's gonna be up there in terms of his physical attributes and everything. He's gonna perform at the combine. I don't see him falling this low, just based on. But the whole pick hinges on Dallas. What the heck does Dallas do? Because like I said, I could see Dallas taking him at 4, and if Dallas takes him at 4, then obviously we got to flex picks and stuff. But here I have Parson. I mean, the dude is an absolute monster. He's an absolute monster.
Yep.
6'3", 245. I mean, he's 21 years old, so he's a little bit more mature than maybe some of the other players that you're picking. And if they don't go with this pick, or let's just say Parsons not available, I could see them getting Rousseau, who played right down the street at Miami. So I think Parsons going to be my pick here for sure. Parsons going to be my pick here for sure. Like I said, because he's still available and what I have as far as what's been pulled off. So Parsons going to be my pick here, but I could definitely see him going higher than what he is.
I agree. Jordan, what do you think, dude?
I think they go wide receiver, Miami. I think they go Devontae Parker. Yeah, that's your best wide receiver. You're going to go for someone else. I think they go with familiarity. So is it Waddle or is it Smith? Who's available?
Waddle.
So
Waddle.
Waddle's their pick. Right there. So if Smith or Waddle are taken by the Eagles at that point, or the other one, vice versa, it's going to be him. You want to make Tua comfortable. So I'll go wide receiver.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And it makes sense to pair Tua up with a guy who he already knows, who's been throwing balls with, and I think. After Devontae Parker, who do they really have at wide receiver? I mean, they got their tight end Gesicki's all right, but they don't have a whole lot of depth at production there. So I mean, I would love to see Devontae Parker, Gesicki, and then Waddle on the outsides. I'd love that.
That'll really open things up for him as well.
So yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to go ahead and back the Waddle pick for Miami because I just don't see anyone else in the top 17 that they could possibly go with that they don't already have, because I mean they've covered most of their holes through free agency with Miami. Dude, Miami's they're in such a good position right now. They have two first round picks and their team's already together.
Yep.
That's well built. Them selling out their team a couple years ago, to completely just offloading everyone before their pick, really turned out extremely good for them. What about you, Doc?
For Miami, you said?
I
went first. I went first. I laid the groundwork with Parson.
You're right, Parsons, and we're both Waddle. I mean,
right. Parson wasn't available. Yeah, Parson wasn't available for you guys. I had Parsons still available.
Exactly. I gave Parsons to Carolina, but I could see him there also, getting that being the leader of the defense for the future. But I think it makes sense what Jordan says with Waddle going there and being with Tua. That's rapport matters. So without further ado, who do you guys have as number 10? I have Denver. Okay, so I have Denver at 10. And man, do you go quarterback? Could you go Mac Jones here? I don't know.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it either. I don't either.
I think they take. Okay, so I've got the biggest position of need for me, and when you're talking about Denver, and we've already discussed it a little bit, you got to look at who you're playing against. You got to win your division first. Okay, so the way that you win that division is you got to slow down some of these wide receivers, because you're going up against Henry Ruggs in Las Vegas. You're going against Mike Williams and Keenan Allen in I want to say San Diego, but it's Los Angeles. And then you got insert name here in terms of who the heck you got to deal with in Kansas City. Yep. So I think that you have to really solidify the cornerback position. You have to have your DB squared away. And so I think here they're going to take, because it's relatively deep when you're looking at corner. it's relatively deep when you're looking at corner. I've only got one. I personally only have one off the board in Surtain.
Yep.
So here you could go with that Farley kid. You could go with that kid at Ohio State, who's, both of whom have played against some top tier talent. So they've both had an opportunity to play in some high pressure games. So I think one of those you got to pick here, and whomever is the best available at this point. I've already got Surtain off the board. I've got Farley as the next best available. So I'd take Farley.
Yeah, I could see that. So when it comes to Denver, I think that's what they are needing after Chris Harris left, and I just don't know who the hell their DBs are right now.
They brought in AJ Bouier, but he's had some injuries.
Yeah.
He's had some injuries that have kept him off the field, and they've got some young talent. But I think, inserting a top tier guy that's already played at a pretty high level, those other guys are just depth. Those other guys that they already have there are just depth. So I think that Farley's probably the best pick out of that spot.
Mm-hmm. So AJ Bouier suspended. Michael Ojemadea and Devontae Bussey are their cornerbacks right now. No, cornerbacks. Yeah. So I would say quarterback is a huge need for Denver to reinstate that no flight zone up there in Denver from 2015. I can honestly see I could see I don't know, man. I think they could go Sean Wade out of Ohio State, or maybe even or Caleb Farley too. So I think that's what makes sense for Denver. What about you, Jordan?
I'm kind of going off what Doc said. You need to get guys that can really play the wide receiver, cover, pass breakups. So going a little bit further down the list, I see Tyson Campbell. I see De'Aaron Kendrick. They have lots of pass breakups. They have really good coverage. You're wanting to stop, especially Kansas City, and insert name. You need people that can swat the ball. You need people that can pick the ball, and you need people that can cover. So I would look at them maybe going after Campbell, Kendrick. And the reason why I'm kind of off Farley a little bit is when I see Virginia Tech, I see weaker competition than what, say, Campbell, what Surtain have, maybe even Kendrick have. So I see to go, even though they're ranked lower, Farley may have had easier competition, may have been able to show off a little bit better. And Georgia and Clemson, they typically go against better opponents. So I'd look maybe Kendrick. I mean, Pro Football Focus has him being the most dominant corner in there. I mean, it looks like he may have had an injury bug earlier in the season, but I don't think that's been an issue since Syracuse. So I'd go with Kendrick from Clemson.
And I mean, Clemson has that quote that they know how to win. I mean, he's Clemson. He goes against top tier dudes every week at practice. You got some of the best skill players in the country that are out there. So, I mean, he's going to be relatively polished just based on who he practices against every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. De'Aaron Kendrick, while the competition level hasn't been great, Kendrick has been the most dominant corner in the country this season. He has not allowed a single catch on 7 targets and has a pick plus 2 pass breakups per PFF. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Zero receptions is what that said.
Zero
receptions. He has more catches than the other team does.
Against him. So that's pretty good productivity. I mean, PFF has him as, I think, the 4th best per their metrics, but that's
weird.
Just grading. That's their grading.
Weird being as he's not allowed to catch, but hey, whatever, man.
But that's so weird to me. That's so weird because that's not a statistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of a little, he never has a catch. well, he doesn't have a catch, but this guy has 7 picks, but he's also let 5 touchdowns happen on him.
Mhm.
So wait,
Like,
what do you want?
Literally, Deion Kendrick is number 26 on their big board, and then I think at 25, just ahead of him, they have the Robinson kid out of Florida. Tyson Campbell. Campbell had a hiccup of a 90-yard score against Alabama, but that's been about it for this season. He has had a breakup in every single game already. It doesn't sound nearly as impressive as the no catch.
Mm-hmm. 0 catches. Also, that's 90-yard touchdown. Like,
yeah,
he got dusted.
Yeah. So I mean,
they ran past him one time. Like,
do what you want with that. Okay. Yeah, Doc. I think that does it for our NFL draft conference for the top 10. We can come back to do our way too early 10 through 20 next week if you guys want, or later on.
Yeah, all good by me, man.
Too easy.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Doc, you said you're gonna go do some stuff, right? Or did you want to stay on?
I've got some stuff. I gotta do. So I'll be dipping out, but I'll follow it. I'll have it up on the old YouTube, and I'll chat with y'all.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Let us know. I know you're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna jump into some quick games for Week 14. Doc, appreciate you having, dude. And
awesome.
Whenever you want to come back, let us know, man. See you, bro.
For sure. Take it easy. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, man.
See you. Yeah. So let's get into some of the Week 14 games, dude, and then we'll bounce out also. So some big ones, Cowboys, Bengals, man.
Are we gonna start off with that one first?
Yeah, we're bringing we started with fire here. Nothing but the best from the war, man.
This is the game where you go do lawn work during. just go work on your dead grass.
Come on, man. Yeah, man. Cowboys, Bengals. Wow, talk about a trash heap of a game. I'm not gonna lie. I hope we lose to you, dude, just so you lose your draft position.
Well, that's hey. I know. I want to lose to you for that exact same scenario.
No, dude. I want to lose to you for that position. Oh man, what do you even do with this, man? Like, it's literally Andy Dalton versus question mark quarterback. Is it going to be Brendan Allen out of Arkansas? Is it going to be Ryan Finley out of North Carolina State? Who knows? Like, you have a 3-9 team and then a 2-9-1 team. So
let's just show you. This is how interested everybody was in this game. They got bounced from the from the 720 slot.
Yeah, because Burrow and Dak aren't playing.
Yeah, as if one of them was starting, I think even if Mixon was still healthy and playing, they wouldn't have got bounced.
I don't know, man. There's no one playing in this game, like zero.
Zeke is questionable. Zeke might not even play this game. It might be Tony Pollard the entire game. He's a game day decision. So. Me personally, I think that means, hey, Zeke, we're going to shut you down for the rest of the season, which I feel like.
Did he get 1,000 yards?
With what offense?
Dude, he is the offense, remember?
with his 60 yards a game.
Yeah.
So, Zeke, I'm sorry. I still believe in you as a running back. I just think you're better as draft pick. Like, I think you're better at getting us a second round draft pick, or maybe giving us a later first round. That's just me.
Maybe to a running back needy team, maybe. Yeah, dude. So this is just going to be a garbage. This is going to be a garbage game, man.
Dumpster fire.
It actually might be pretty fun because of how bad it's going to be. Like, just how bad both the defenses are. I think my defense might be better than yours, honestly.
Oh, easy. Because we keep talking about how talented the Dallas Cowboys defense is. We've talked about it for 12 games, but we're 3-9, and that talent has yet to show up other than Trayvon Diggs and 5 games from Aldon Smith.
Yeah, dude. So at this point, dude, it's just kind of like strength against strength, I guess. your offense is kind of your strength. My defense is kind of my strength. My offense is horrible. It is so bad without Joe Burrow, dude. Like it's oh, it makes you like happy that Joe Burrow is your quarterback for the future because like without him, you have nothing. Yeah.
According to ESPN's Football Power Index, they have a 63% chance of beating the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow.
No, I don't want that. Boo. It's never gonna lose.
Hey, fun fact: Dak Prescott has not been in since Week 5 and still has more 400-yard games than any other quarterback in the National Football League. Boom. Sign Dak Prescott.
I think at this point you got to, man. You just gotta offload all those other contracts, man, or try and get trades done to get them off your books.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I could have went so much more into depth on the trade talk on the draft pick because there's so many things you could do as Dallas right now. We've talked about blowing them up. We've talked about maybe plugging in other pieces, definitely getting a new DC. Just I don't even know how I don't know how he's still a coach right now in the Dallas Cowboys.
I think you guys the Cowboys could have traded back, got a pick. I got a couple picks, and you gave them Amari Cooper.
I mean, yeah, you could have, but then in my eyes is Michael Gallup, because you're signing Michael Gallup then next year because this offseason. And then if you're getting rid of Amari Cooper, who's he's silently been pretty productive, but you're expecting CeeDee Lamb as your dog, your number one.
Of course, he's already your dog, dude. Like we were saying, like he's just that kind of caliber athlete.
So I think because how bad these teams are, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be interesting, but I still think who's your backup running back?
Giovanni Bernard.
Giovanni Bernard, career day for Giovanni Bernard.
With our offensive line, dude, I don't know. Like, dude, it's such a trash game, bro. Like the Bengals Cowboys is just what do you do with that?
I think we tune into Miami versus the Chiefs.
That sounds a little bit more interesting than that, dude. Let's get off the trash bowl.
And go to Miami.
Let's go to Miami Chiefs. That'll be fun.
Oh, that'd
be fun.
As much as I think this is going to be Gaskin, their top running back is on the sick list. He's on the sick list. Yep. So I know we can't mention the other thing. So we'll say sick list.
Yeah, we're an unauthoritative source.
Correct. So we will go with the sick list. Yeah, I just read that on ESPN. So they probably have lost a little bit. It's going to be a fun game. I actually can't wait to see it. I hope it's a better game than where I think it could very well get out of hand. I think Kansas City easily has the chance to dominate this game, but also most of their games are one-score wins.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the Miami beat a terrible Bengals team by 19 to I think 7 at that. Or it's just my God. I don't think they're that good. I think the Chiefs are gonna. I think that the Miami defense will hold the Chiefs to a lower score than usual, but I think it'll still be like at least a 10-point game, like 23-13, because Miami's offense isn't really that great, dude. Honestly, they're not fantastic. They need help, like Jalen Waddle, like we were saying, but the Kansas City Chiefs have everything. So I think they come away from the Dolphins with a win, and the Dolphins go and get out of the game feeling better about themselves.
We went up against the Super Bowl champions 2 years in a row, and we only lost by 10 points. Tua didn't get hurt. I know I'm joking around about being hurt, but really that's your win right there. If Tua can go have a good day, not make too many mistakes, and come out healthy.
Yep.
That's a win for Miami.
That's a win in itself, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the Chiefs win this pretty handily. Without further talk about that, let's go over to Arizona versus New York Giants, who happen to be leading your division.
Oh my gosh, it's just so bad. It's so surprising, and it's so funny how more people in the Giants talk about Jason Garrett than their head coach Joe Judge. I don't know. Maybe Nabori even talks about it. Jason Garrett being our OC more than Joe Judge as the head coach. They say Daniel Jones is questionable. I don't rush him back. I go with Colt McCoy.
Get that pick, baby.
Cardinals. Yeah. Go get that pick. Colt McCoy's a veteran. He's been in the league for a while. He knows what to do. He knows how to handle the ball.
No. Hold on a second. Daniel Jones is starting, dude. He's starting versus the Cardinals.
So Cardinals are going to beat the Giants.
Yeah.
I think they were going to win anyway. I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Arizona's been on the slide. They're 6-6, and then New York Giants are 5-7, and the Giants have won a lot of their last few games, man.
I think this is a rebound game for the Cardinals. What was it? 4 weeks ago, Kyler Murray took a big hit, like a real big hit, and he came up he's like, my shoulder because I'm 5'9" and I'm bruised. If that shoulder at that throwing arm is good, I think the Cardinals could win pretty easily because I mean they still got a good defense. And I think if Kyler Murray gets going and the Giants defense, even though good, don't get me wrong, the Giants defense is cooking. And I think they're just going to be a lot. I think they're going to be a lot for the Giants.
I don't think so, man. The Giants just beat Seattle, the Seahawks, 17-12. So
the declining Seahawks.
I mean, Arizona's not exactly been on fire either, though. Come on now.
Okay, so I'm going to level with y'all at Roar Sports Media. I need Kyler Murray to go off. Anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of insider trading.
A little bit of insider trade. Let's go, Kyler Murray.
I need that
Texas.
money.
I'm just hoping. I like Kyler Murray. I want it to be a really good game. I want him to go off. I want it to be back and forth. I do think if Kyler Murray is healthy, I think they've been keeping quiet a shoulder injury. I think if he's healthy, I think he's a lot for a lot of teams when he's healthy and he can throw on the run and he can throw the deep ball. So that's just me.
Yeah, I think another interesting game we got coming up is Ravens-Browns, dude. I think that, Ravens-Browns. Yeah, dude. Can you believe that the Browns are 9-3 right now, man?
That's the first time since Belichick. Imagine that.
Wow.
Since Belichick, they have not had a record like that. Since 94, 95.
Yeah, dude. To see the Cleveland Browns in the position they are is insane. Baltimore Ravens, they seem to be not on a decline, but not quite to the level that they were last year. They smoked the Cowboys, but against clearly that was a lesser Ravens team against the Steelers. So I think they're a better team than what the record shows. But this should be a very good game. The Ravens earlier this year smoked the Browns. I believe the first game of the season. And I think this is going to be kind of a redemption game for the Browns. I think they're going to come in and not be scared of the big brother Baltimore Ravens and, show out. I think that I know Doc's going to hate this because he's a Ravens fan, but I think the Browns come out with a dub here. What about you, man?
I kind of got to give it to the hot hand right now. I do got to go with the Browns. I think Baker Mayfield's been playing good football. I hate to see that. I think sometimes when players go out, coaches leave, certain players replace other players, the team becomes better. So I think when OBJ went down, I think it allowed them to mesh better. It basically was like, well, there's your $140 million receiver. Throw it. You have to throw it to him. Baker Mayfield doesn't have to like force it to OBJ and then throw a pick. He can actually get it. Right. He doesn't have to baby it. And so with Kareem Hunt, with Chubb, just, man, it's a lot. Even though the Baltimore Ravens defense is astounding, it's insane. It's great. It's a lot. It is a lot. And if Baker Mayfield plays like he's been playing, yeah, I think the Ravens go take the L.
I think so too. It's just at this point, I mean, Lamar is what he is, and I think he's a good quarterback. It's just like the Browns are super duper hot right now, man, and I think they're gonna stay that way. I think they might make the playoffs, or probably will make the wild card.
Since Belichick.
Nope. Yep. So another big game, Steelers Bills, man.
I need the Bills to win.
I want to see that. I want to see that. Dude, that's gonna be a very, very good game. I just want to see Big Ben versus Little Ben happen. You know, Josh Allen he's like I said, he's a sneaky dark horse for MVP for me this year. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved him coming out of college. I knew he was a raw prospect, but everything I saw from him, it's whenever he puts it all together is when the league's gonna be in danger. Like Pat Mahomes, he's a talent-wise carbon copy of Pat Mahomes, but like it's just the processor needed to be buffed. You know what I'm saying?
He couldn't have had a better place to go to.
Yeah, Brandon Beane and his coach, dude.
I mean, he just went. Everybody said he would be raw. Everybody said he had all the talent in the world, and he just needed that right coaching staff. I think if he went to not any other team, but I think there are quite a few teams. If he went to, Josh Allen wouldn't be in the league right now. It can happen. You can have all the talent in the world and you're just not good because you just don't develop the way you should.
Coaching matters.
So yes, coaching does matter. So I take the Bills in this. I think the Steelers have had a very easy schedule. I mean, they should. I mean, really, right now, we all think and we all know they should be 10-2 right now. Because congratulations, you did not play the Baltimore Ravens with 17. What was it? 7 of their starters.
Yeah, so, and well, then also the Titans game, the penalty saved the Steelers also. So yeah, I mean, there's that too. But
and the Titans are going to get their stuff together, but the Titans really should have. I feel they should have won that game.
Yeah, I think that's where their downfall started to happen. I think they started to doubt themselves a little bit more after that, and then the Bengals lost the very next week didn't help out with that either. So, I think the Bills have a good shot at beating the Steelers in this game, and that's who I'm rooting for to win. Is there any other games you wanted to get to, dude? Man, why am I hiccuping so much?
I mean, honestly, there's actually actually a lot of these games are really pretty evenly matched. So I mean, you got the Colts and Raiders.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. I mean, really, Vikings. I know they're 6-6, but Bucks are 7-5. It's not a bad one. Packers and Lions. I assume the Packers are going to win, but we never know how a team plays after they get rid of their terrible head coach. So, and there are division stuff on the line, even though it's clearly the Packers. So I'll say right there, Packers win. I think it should be a pretty easy win for them.
Yeah,
but
Packers beat Lions for sure.
Colts and Raiders, I think we could definitely talk about.
We can get to some Raiders and Colts talk. Yeah. So I mean, the Colts are 8-4. I didn't see that happening with Philip Rivers going there. Apparently, Frank Reich has proved us wrong on how good of a coach he is, because he has revived Philip Rivers' career. Because the past 2 seasons with the Chargers, everyone thought that he was on his way out, but this year he has shown to be a little bit of Philip from his youth, and has come back with a raging glory, dude. Yep. The Raiders are very well built and coached team. They're 7-5, and in the future they're going to be vying for playoffs and Super Bowls, I think. Exactly. But this game is going to be very interesting, dude.
I mean, because you have such a good you have so many. I mean, you have good offenses versus good defenses.
Mm-hmm.
You have good coaches versus good coaches. You have good quarterbacks, good running backs. I mean, you could just look down the board, and it's pretty much almost a mirror image of each other. I mean, both quarterbacks are throwing 18 to 20 touchdown passes, 3,000 plus yards. The running backs are 600 and 700 yards apiece. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. The wide receivers. Philip Rivers spreads the ball around a little bit more. D. Waller, he's more of the receiver. I mean, dang, man, that's a game to watch too. There's a lot of good football on this weekend for Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but I just don't, with the Raiders, man, like how do you go from losing to the Chiefs by 4 to getting smashed by the Falcons 43-6, and then just barely beating the Jets at 31-28?
Well, they should have lost. That was such a bad play call. He got fired the next day. The Jets, Greg Williams. He was like, "Yeah, you're fired." I was like, "Good, you finally." That was the best coaching you ever did, Adam Gase.
Yep.
Zero cover. Nobody in the end zone.
Oh my God!
Let him throw underneath, not beat you deep down the freaking sideline. I mean,
play man, dude. I don't know, man. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Colts, Raiders.
You got though.
I got the. I'm gonna go Raiders. I'm going Raiders.
I'm feeling Raiders.
I got Raiders, dude. I feel like. Man, it's gonna be such a good game though. Like, man, because at this point, I think that Philip Rivers and Derek Carr are very like matched quarterbacks. So just kind of like, who's the better coach, Frank Reich or Chucky? So I mean, I'm gonna go with Gruden on this one and the Raiders, and I think they're gonna win.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be a good one, man.
Yeah.
So are you watching the Bengals tomorrow?
Bro, I don't know if my heart can take it. I don't know if I can do it, dude. Like after Joe Burrow and my pretty much my breakdown in my bedroom, it's hard to watch Bengals games, dude. It's like being on ecstasy and then having that dopamine drop, So I mean no.
Washington and 49ers. I mean, at least I know 49ers don't have anything at stake, but Washington does.
No, they could go to the playoffs.
Yeah, they could go to the playoffs. So
and they just knocked off the Steelers too. So
Did you see the clip?
Well, which one?
Where Mike Tomlin was talking to Chase Young, and he was like, "I'd love to have you. Like, I love you on my team." He was like, "But I'm not going to lose that much to get you."
Like, man, you got to lose 15 games to get a guy like you. I'm good. Yeah, that was funny. That was
great.
Yeah, dude. I think it's about time. We're almost at 2 hours.
Thank y'all for hanging in with us, y'all.
Yeah. So I don't think that much Not many more interesting games. We covered all the big ones. The draft talk was good too. All right,
was.
bro. I appreciate you coming on. Doc, also, if you listen to this later, if you're listening now, we'd love to have you come back on, dude. Love you. Guys, appreciate you sitting and watching and talking and all that stuff, commenting. It helps out the channel grow. If you could, please like, subscribe. Tell us, everyone, word of mouth is dope. We love talking football, and we love just chatting. We're going to have more draft content coming up. And honestly, in the future, we might get into college recruiting also, just because that's also an interesting thing to cover when it comes to football, crystal balls and all that stuff. You know, on the Roar, we're here to grow. We're here to get better and all that stuff. Jordan, you got anything to tell people, man?
Let's beat it home. Like, subscribe. We love having as many subscribers as you can. Come jump on. If you want to talk football with us, I know Rory isn't against people coming on and talking with us if you know your stuff.
This is a fan generated show. If you want to, if you want to come on, you can come on. Just try to know what you're talking about. We're not experts. We're just kind of like it's all of opinion.
It is.
Yep.
So come on, come comment. We like having you. It's funner when people comment, so we can fire back. So yep.
And talk, yeah. Let's give us something to talk about. But guys, appreciate you coming. Welcome to the Roar. It's so good being here and talking to you guys about football. It's our passion. We appreciate you coming on. Welcome to the Roar. Peace.